You don't need to prove anything to anyone. And I say this knowing that you're going to continue to try and prove things to people to get that external validation. And it's a very valuable point in your journey. So don't resist it. It's okay if you're trying to prove, if you're trying to get that external validation because you maybe don't innately believe or don't see the external results quite yet. That's okay. But I want to remind you that as you develop and as you gain this clarity, you'll realize, and like I did, I came to a point when I tried to prove and I tried to please for so long, doing crazy things, like crazy noble things, and realizing that it does not change other people and people will still never understand. So the journey is you accepting yourself fully and accepting this moment fully and accepting where you are fully and gaining that internal confidence and realizing the journey is a journey within, not outside of who you are. Because what happens in that dynamic where we think this? Well, because we're doing something and we want to do something that is so outside of the norm. And you might be controlled and dependent upon other people right now, and you're ingrained with your family and this and that. Remember, they're dealing with their own 3D reality manipulated by fear and their own insecurities and their own chains that they've adopted throughout life. So you knowing this unsuppression of fear, chains, resistance, and you knowing the abundance that's possible by doing things completely out of the norm, that's the first step. You know these things. But what happens though is you haven't gained the external results yet. So you're trying to explain, you're excited too, and you want to do these things. So you're talking to these people around you who do not understand because they're doing their own thing. And rightfully so. Them not understanding is a telltale sign that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, which is awesome to remember. And you need to consume and get around people that are thinking and aligning with you so you can cultivate that belief and get that, not external validation, but you can be reminded when you fall back into states of fear, suppression, and a misrepresentation of the true reality of life, which is love, which is present moment awareness. And when you're moving forward and you're aligning, you're seeing the answers, but again, it's a huge change, and like it's almost like you need to create this reality before you can make the big changes. So you're in this reality that isn't quite aligned externally. So the real answer is becoming it right now without any external validation. You need to strengthen that belief. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You know who you are. And even if you don't know who you are, having courage to have courage. And I'm going to give you a practical example of how this is exactly the case. I had bought property for myself, a house hack, an investment property, but it was also for my family to live in, to get into a better location near some family. And I thought it would change everything, but it still didn't change who the people I was trying to change were. But that's not my right to change them. So it's again another journey for me to accept and let go of expectations of other people. And also, like building my first online business, I didn't really know what or who I was in regards to this. I knew what I liked to talk about, but I didn't know the offer. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was teaching. I didn't know even what I was doing. And I wanted something tangible to tell around people because I was remembering or like projecting in my mind when somebody asks me this and that, I don't even know. And I'm just like, I'm doing this. So I wanted tangible things. And I created all these products and this and that to like create a brand out of it. And people started to understand. And I gave everybody around me free stuff, thousands of dollars of free stuff. So I did not need to explain. I did not need to prove. And it was just funny when I officially launched the business, nobody that I gave free stuff to actually supported the business, which kind of left me bitter and resentful for a little bit. But what I realized is that's not the case, because a lot of the times you don't realize, like if you are in a dynamic around family, like they were supporting me in so many other ways. Whether it's helping me out with my life dynamic, helping my family out, being an ear for me as I'm in this state of insecurity. So every point in which you're at is an exact place that you're supposed to be at. And if you just go through it with nobility, and the real answer is not falling back into that state of resistance, fear, and desperation. Even if you fall back into fear, desperation, whatever, judgment, hate, recognizing that, forgiving yourself, and continue to move forward. That's the hero's journey. That's the only answer. That applies to every aspect of life. And the reason I'm saying this is because you being in a state of confusion, you need to dial in and focus on what you really want and just take action and fail. And what will happen is you'll gain clarity because of the lessons you've got from these failures, which are not actually failures. So the people who actually create these lives that they want are people who are ruthless in a loving manner. And remember, you don't need to compare yourself to anybody, because a lot of these people that are creating these things that you may resonate with, a lot of them are creating these glass houses that will inevitably shatter because they're creating it off a false belief system, a false sense of reality. Meaning they're climbing this Jacob's ladder, this endless Jacob's ladder of getting things, achieving things, and thinking that's going to be their salvation. But then what's going to happen is everybody's brought to their knees because everybody becomes conscious and aware when things hit the fan, when things happen, when trauma happens. So welcoming that and realizing that you may be having the worst dynamic, the worst childhood is your advantage. And you were given that to bring some piece of awareness to somebody who needs it. And that is your power. So somebody who had a good childhood and was a rich kid and got everything handed to them, you are way better off than them because they do not know the true nature and reality of life. So remember, hard times create strong men. Strong men create easy times. Easy times create weak men. So you being a strong man, you're going to create an easy time. And knowing that easy times create weak men, you need to know that, yes, you're creating easy times, but you need to uphold values and standards, and you need to make sure that people around you are upholding them as well. And you're maybe not even at that phase, as I'm not even really at that phase. But the reason I'm saying this is to know that and have awareness of that. Because ultimately what happens is, like I said, we're all brought to our knees. And nobody escapes the fate of life. That is death. And I don't know what happens after death, but what I will say is death brings you to your knees and reminds you of what really matters. And none of this shit matters. None of what I'm saying matters. None of what I'm trying to create matters in the grand scheme of things. What matters is me being loving, me accepting myself, me accepting this moment, and me realizing I'm here right now. I'm here right now. I have everything I fucking need. So this energy of I have everything I need, I'm grateful, is what I need to carry into creation. And that state of being is what creates the abundance that you're looking for. Stop getting tricked. Guys, if you like the video, consider subscribing. Like the video. I'm going to continue to share some wisdom, share my experiences, take risk, and create abundance and freedom in my life, and help you guys create abundance and freedom in yours, in your life. Regardless, guys, nobody's perfect, so stop trying to be perfect. Thank you, fam. Peace.